A court battle gets underway over public beach access in Shunya Township. Plans announced for a tribute to some fallen Thunder Bay heroes. And big crowds expected as a major North Course celebration opens.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Arguments over a popular summer destination were heard in court today.
3 lawsuits totaling $3 million have been filed against the municipality of Shunya over the use of O'Connor Point. Residents who live near the beach on Lake Superior have tried for years to get it shut down. But as Dennis Ward reports, those who frequent the spot say private landowners shouldn't decide the fate of a public space.
For nearly 20 years, this popular summer spot off Eldorado Beach Road has been causing major headaches for nearby homeowners. The families who have launched the litigation say they put up with drinking, excessive noise, trespassing, stolen and damaged property. One of the lawyers, Samantha Filipovic, is also one of the plaintiffs. She says on a hot summer day, as many as 400 people will frequent the beach. She alleges the municipality is making their concerns out to be small annoyances, but says some of her clients are afraid to leave their homes. They want the beach shut down until an agreement can be reached. Caitlin Turner has been taking her son to O'Connor Point for years. It's the perfect beach for a small kid, she says, and thinks it would be very unfortunate if it were shut down.
I really feel that the people that do know about it generally do take care of the place. I think that'd be a big shame that if it got shut down. I mean, like I said, a lot of the places get E. coli halfway through the summer. Rapids, like there's nowhere you can just go and enjoy yourself, and that place is like a little piece of heaven. And you know, I think it's only fair that the rest of the city gets to enjoy that as well, not just people, you know, that live a little bit more fortunate lives than some of us. I feel we all should have a part of that as well.
Shunya's lawyer argues steps are being taken to address concerns. A security guard has been hired to patrol the area, and a 20-person limit is currently in place. Turner feels those measures are extreme. A court decision on the future of O'Connor Point will come down at a later date. Dennis Ward, TBT News.
More than 150 Canadian men and women have been killed as a result of military activities in Afghanistan since 2002. That grim total, the highest for any single Canadian military mission since the Korean War. 3 of those fallen soldiers from right here in Thunder Bay will soon have a monument dedicated to their memory. Corporal Anthony Benecka, Private Robert Costel, and Private Josh Kluke died in 3 separate incidents in 2006. Anthony Benecka's father, Antonio Benecka, says the memorial being unveiled next month is a fitting tribute.
That's because I guess he talked to the guys that talk, you know.
Yeah. All throughout Antonio Benecka's North Side home, there are pictures of his son Anthony. And still today, more than 7 years after Anthony's death, it hurts to look at them.
It's my son. I just had one son.
That one son, who was only 21 years old when he lost his life serving his country back in 2006, just 2 weeks before his second tour of duty in Afghanistan was scheduled to end. Now, finally, this freshly finished monument featuring 3 maple leafs, 1 each for Corporal Anthony Benecka, Private Robert Costel, and Private Josh Kluke, along with the words, "We will remember them," awaits shipment to its permanent home in the southwest corner of Waverly Park on the morning of September 14th. It's a tribute that's long overdue, says the still grief-stricken father.
I'm mad with the Army. They never did nothing. 7 years.
The only reason the monument has been built even now, says Benecka, is because of Ken McCaskill, who upon meeting Benecka quickly realized that something needed to be done to pay tribute to the 3 young soldiers.
I immediately felt that this was something that he should not have to do on his own.
McCaskill is chair of the Thunder Bay Military History Society. He brought the story back to other members of the society who wholeheartedly agreed that action had to be taken.
This is for the people to honor these soldiers and respect them and to give closure in a way to the families.
Benecka anticipates the ceremony will be tough on him, but he's glad the soldiers are finally getting the recognition they deserve.
They're going to be there forever anyway. and he thinks they should do.
His only regret is that his wife, Shirley, who passed away last month after a battle with lengthy illness, won't be there by his side to see their son finally recognized for what he really is. The problems facing international students as a result of striking foreign service workers isn't having a big impact on Lakehead University's enrollment numbers. Lakehead's international director says she's aware of fewer than 20 incoming students that are currently experiencing delays with their visa application. Even in those cases, it's not clear whether the wait time is a direct result of the strike or if those students have applied for the document just recently. Still, LU is in frequent communication with the affected students to make sure they're fully aware of their options.
Although school starts most of the programs on the 3rd of September or around that time, the students will be coming to enter into their programs. They are actually able to arrive up until September 20th. That's the same with domestic students and international students. But we have indicated that, and we have indicated that to AUCC, the Association of Universities and Colleges Canada, who have told the visa offices around the world. So they do know that September 20th is the last date.
Keating says they're also working with students on a plan to get them enrolled for the January semester if they're unable to get into the country by September. Overall, she anticipates they'll have between 400 and 450 international students at an average tuition price of $17,000 to $18,000 apiece.
Each year when students head back to school, it can be a costly time for families. The price of new books, binders, and backpacks can add up pretty quickly. But for families who might be struggling to afford the essentials, both school boards say there are a number of programs in place to help them out. Courtney Rutherford has the details.
Pencils, paper, and notebooks, just some of the requirements when the beginning of a new school year rolls around. But heading back to school can mean major spending for parents, and for some, it can be unaffordable. That's why the Lakehead District School Board created a foundation designed for families who might be struggling at this time of year and unable to buy the basics.
This year there's an allocation that will be given to every elementary and every secondary school, and it is for things like that, so that if the children can't, if they don't have a backpack or if they don't have indoor runners, or if there's a field trip or things they'd like to participate in that are optional, that there are funds available at the school level.
The schools determine who receives the money strictly on how well they know the student and their current living situation. Meanwhile, the Catholic School Board has also created a program to help out their students with similar situations. Each year, students pay upwards of $70 to $100 on a uniform to be worn every day. Catholic School Board Superintendent Pino Tassoni says they will make provisions for any student whose family is struggling financially, and it's not just limited to school supplies.
Over the course of the year, we also have students that may not be able to pay for user fees to do certain activities, as well as students that may need some support for excursions. We want all our students to be equal. We want to provide all our students with equitable and inclusive education.
Both school boards hand out a list of required supplies to each of their students by the end of the school year, but they say several of the items on those lists are now provided for them at the beginning of the year. Courtney Rutherford, TBT News.
Well, it's been a fairly slow forest fire season thus far, but things may pick up as temperatures heat up at the tail end of summer. The hot, dry weather in the northwest has resulted in an increased risk of fire hazard. M&R Fire Manager Supervisor Gary Harlan says warm temperatures coupled with thunder shower activity could keep fire crews busy over the next few weeks. Since April 1st, 312 fires have been reported in the northwest region, burning over 40,000 hectares of forest.
Fires burning in the region as we speak. Each of the last 2 days, I think we've picked up 9 fires each day. There's a couple fires burning in Lake of the Woods that are being allowed to burn. We have one fire here in the Thunder Bay District up in Wabakimi Park around the Smooth Rock Lake area that we actioned the day before yesterday. It's in very good shape. It's under control, and the fire crews are just mopping it up. It's a term we use, that they're getting down to the last little bit of work on it.
The M&R is instructing the public to follow all guidelines and bylaws when burning. With the long weekend coming up, the ministry wants to remind everyone to be cautious around campfires and extinguish them properly.
A head-on collision Thursday near Terrace Bay has left one man in hospital with serious injuries. OPP say the crash occurred around 10 in the morning in a construction zone east of the community. Police, fire, and paramedic personnel were all involved in pulling a trapped man from his smoking vehicle. He was transported to hospital in Thunder Bay with what are described as life-threatening injuries. The collision forced the closure of Highway 17 for about 2 hours.
The Ontario government says it will compel auto insurance companies to cut premiums by an average of 8% by next August and a total of 15% within 2 years. The NDP had demanded the 15% cut in 1 year in exchange for supporting the minority government's budget, but Finance Minister Charles Sousa says his plan is more practical. Sousa says the government will appoint a watchdog to make sure industry savings from regulatory changes introduced in 2010 are passed along to consumers. However, the Insurance Bureau of Canada says it will need to see more steps taken to reduce costs for the industry before premiums can be chopped by 15%.
The Canadian Border Services Agency is reporting several firearm seizures at the Pigeon River and Fort Frances crossings. In one incident earlier this month, a Florida man traveling in a motorhome was detained by Pigeon River staff after an inspection turned up a loaded handgun in the bedroom of the vehicle and 2 more in the bathroom. Another loaded handgun was found under the seat of a vehicle being towed behind, along with 2 canisters of pepper spray. As a result, the man spent 4 days behind bars and was fined $4,000. Another man from Oregon was also caught at Pigeon River this month trying to cross the border with parts of a disassembled semi-automatic handgun secreted in various parts of his vehicle. Fort Frances staff, meanwhile, found a Texas man trying to bring a loaded revolver into the country. Both individuals have been released on bail and will make court appearances later this month.
Canada certainly has some great places to live, and an online contest is celebrating those areas. Local residents are encouraged to vote for Prince Arthur's Landing, which made the list of 35 great places in the country. The contest, which is run by the Canadian Institute of Planners, features 3 categories. People can vote for their favorite street, neighborhood, or place. The diversity and beautiful scenery at Prince Arthur's Landing make it a real contender, say Marina Park officials. Voting is a key step to winning in the division, but entries will also have to pass a panel of judges. Marina Park Operations Coordinator Kathy Ball says people that are proud of the space should get online and go vote.
Anybody that's been down here, that's been to the park in the last couple of years since we opened it, just knows what a fabulous spot we have. I mean, look at the weather this week, it's been great. And I think that all the visitors that have come to Thunder Bay recognize again that it's a fabulous spot. We've had people that say that they can't believe this is Thunder Bay.
Nominations close on September 2nd. The contest closes later on that month.
Well, the fires are crackling and the smell of barbecue is wafting around the downtown North Core. Ribfest is back for its 2nd year, and this time the event promises to be bigger and better. Tara Allaire was there.
The 3-day festival couldn't have opened on a sunnier day and looks to draw around 25,000 people this weekend. The event has brought professional ribbers from Southern Ontario to compete for the Best Ribs title. Ribs Royale Barbecue's Chris Sakalis is back for a 2nd year and in the hunt for the top prize. He says they've won 10 of their last 13 shows and gave us the secret to making award-winning ribs.
Low and slow. We cook them in our smoker at about 275 degrees for about 3.5 hours.
Also in the hunt will be last year's People's Choice Best Ribs champions, Jack the Ribber. Randy Austin is looking forward to the friendly competition and believes their recipe will take the title for the 2nd year in a row.
It's the process of the way we smoke our ribs and the way that I make my own rub, I make my own sauce, and I smoke my ribs with hickory, a big piece of hickory, a middle piece of cherry, and a stick of apple. Now, I had a lady come up earlier on and ask me, how come the meat is still red? It's because I smoke it with cherry. I could burn it and it'll still be red in the middle. It's smoked, it's cooked 350 degrees for 4 hours.
Diane Lachance attended the popular event last year and was excited to try it again. She says it's the combination of food and fun that has people coming back.
The entertainment, the ribs, the weather, it's great, yeah. The sauce, and the meat, yeah, it's very good.
If you'd like to partake in the deliciousness that is Ribfest, come down to the Waterfront District. The event runs through Sunday with proceeds going to the community. Tara Allaire, TBT News.